ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today, for the first time ever, a single mother is held accountable. We'll take a look at that, and then for our article story, the world needs you again, gentlemen, to dispense some of your limitless advice and wisdom. So let's get started, guys. A woman trying to be responsible for her own actions and accountable is always a funny one, so let's get started. And please like and subscribe.
Men can't conceptualize that women are single by choice because men are rarely single by choice. There are, of course, always the exceptions, but this is speaking in grand overarching terms. The vast majority of women that I know that are not single because they're not being chosen. They are single because despite the DMs and the countless, who is she, what's her deal, can you give me her number, can I get to know her? They are still choosing singleness because the vast majority of us have recognized that men do not have a good return on investment. I would never take a business deal that would require more of my time and energy and really not offer me anything other than that person being in my life.
Well, who pushes more for marriage, gentlemen? Is it men or women? I think that provides an answer as to who marriage really benefits or breaking the marriage, you know? And it also begs the question, this is women's feminism's Schrodinger cat, you know, where they're both the victim and empowered, depending on the situation. They will both whine about there not being men, where are the good men, you know, I've been single for a decade, but at the same time, we'll actually have like 400 guys piled up on my DMs, but I'm single and where are all the men, right?
As a return, it's just not, the math isn't mathing. I was in a relationship that I left, not because he was a bad person, not because he did anything wrong. He's a wonderful guy. I just decided that I wanted to, for the first time in a long time, feel what it was like and see what I could do with only using my energy on myself, my children, my friendships, and my businesses.
Yeah, so she thought she will be better, but now she is not better but bitter, complaining on TikTok. And she even says it, guys. He wasn't a bad person, there was nothing wrong with him, he was an awesome guy, but I left him. Jeez.
And that's been a couple months in the running now, and things have been skyrocketing. I am choosing singleness because it is better for my future, for my children's future, and I am happy.
How is it possible that the children will be better off without a father? Can somebody explain that to me? Like, can someone actually make sense of that? What in the hell?
And more at peace being single than I have been in any relationships, even the wonderful ones that I've been in. And when I am ready to date again, if I'm ever ready to have partnership again, it will be when I feel that that is something I want to add into my life, and also when there is someone that I deem worthy of sharing this space with me. But until then, I'm going to continue thriving in this energy by myself, and I would appreciate if the males would stop using this tired old narrative that women are not being chosen, when the reality is we just don't want y'all.
Alright, you keep your energy to yourself. That energy, gentlemen, is piss and vinegar, right? That's the energy that she's going to stew in until she passes away alone. And poor children, of course, they have no say in this. They of course, if you ask them, they want to be with the father as well. But sorry, you just got a toxic harpy as a mother, so yes, that's out of the way. But now let's move on to Voldemort. Oh no, sorry, it's just someone else without eyebrows. Alright, let's check what she has to say.
I laugh every single time I see anything about like the male loneliness epidemic, because every woman I know is like the most beautiful, considerate, thoughtful, lovely person and is trying to find love, and then every man I encounter is fumbling the baddest bitch on the planet because of their own ego or own self issues. I was supposed to go on a first date a week ago. This was with somebody that I had met in real life through a friend. We got along super well. Honestly, he was doing everything right leading up to the date. He was like calling me and texting me and being really sweet, and even like texting our mutual friend and being like, oh, like, what does Tanya like? And he was doing great. However, we were supposed.
So her name is Tanya. This is a bit, you know, branching off to a different topic, but I don't know if you guys played Papa's Pizzeria. You have to make pizzas for these silly characters. You can look them up on Google, but she looks like one of them. All right. Just having no eyebrows somewhat reminds me of those characters. I think they had eyebrows, but they were like drawn over their heads, you know, so they looked very odd. They had like weird eyes. You can just Google them, and her name is Tanya, which sounds like the name of an NPC. Sorry if you're called Tanya. I know, just very odd character, guys. She looks like from a 2002 video game.
We were supposed to go out Saturday during the day. On Friday night, we were on the phone, just chatting, and he asked me to send him my location, and I said no. I was like, you don't need to know my address. We've only met once. Like, I don't know you like that. I told you my neighborhood. If you're trying to figure out how far you are from me, that's all you really need to know. And when I said that, he was like, oh, why? Do you think I'm going to abduct and kidnap you? And I was like, no, but I don't know you. I'm not sending you my address. And then I decided to let it slide because sometimes people just say dumb things and they don't think about it. I didn't genuinely get a feeling of unsafety or danger. But then the next day, like 30 minutes before we're supposed to meet, we were supposed to go to this market thing together and then maybe like go to a park to play chess. And he was like, hey, like, let's skip the market. And then he had planned out like this whole day. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great, but I do really want to go to the market as well. So like maybe we can do both. To which his response was, Tanya, you're making it really hard to abduct and kidnap you. How are you making this statement twice? It wasn't funny the first time you did it. It's still not funny the second time you did it.
Oh, it was absolutely funny. You just don't have a sense of humor.
So when he said that to me, I was like, hey, you might not want to make comments like that to a woman that you barely know. And he was like, oh, my sense of humor is just like dark and offensive. If that's a deal breaker for you, let me know. And I was like, no, dark and offensive humor I'm fine with. My therapist literally told me that I had the darkest sense of humor of anyone she's ever met. But I was
Oh, how dark, gentlemen, how edgy. Her therapist told her that she's like the silliest of them all, the baddest of them all. Oh wow, she's so dark. You know, she's so cool, guys. Holy hell.
I was like, jokes are generally funny. And then instead of apologizing at this point, he just doubled down and he said, TBH, I don't really appreciate being told how to socialize. Motherfucker, what?
Guys, with that voice tone, she sounds like the most unfunny person. This is the type of person that you joke around saying that she gets offended too easily. And to prove you right, she goes on the corner to cry and doesn't talk to you again, right? This is the type of woman. Oh, that joke was offensive. How dare you mentions a specific minority group that should be worshipped at all times? This is the type of woman.
First of all, I didn't tell you how to socialize. All I said was, jokes are generally funny. Second of all, it sounds like you do need someone to tell you how to socialize because, oh my God, what is wrong with you? And then I was like, hey, I don't really appreciate being told that I'm going to get abducted and kidnapped by someone I'm about to go on a date with, so I'm just going to go ahead and cancel this. And I did. And all of this is to say, if you see anything about the male loneliness epidemic and you're a male and you're wondering why, just know it is of your own doing. We are trying, but good fucking God, get your shit together.
So, apparently, guys, you cannot whine about the male loneliness epidemic if you happen to make jokes that are not funny to this woman, all right? Don't start with the most men are alone, they are sad, they are depressed, there is an incredibly high unaliving rate. If you make jokes that this woman doesn't fancy, all right? You don't get to talk about that, apparently. Meanwhile, as a woman, you can be extremely unfunny, going to a therapist, probably because you don't have a father and you've got your cheeks clapped by five chads. You don't even have eyebrows. Like the bar is so low, guys. Men are dating women without eyebrows nowadays. I know about you. I like my women with eyebrows, you know. She has the disgusting piercing that just... I've never seen someone with that piercing have an actual personality. I don't know about you. You know, the bar is so low. No eyebrows, no personality, no dating prospects for the future. Men are still willing to date her. But the guy said an unfunny joke that this modern, empowered, brainwashed feminist doesn't like. Oh, sorry, you're out of the way. Anyway, male loneliness, guys. All right, I'll need your advice here, gentlemen, is we'll read an article written by Your Boy 54. Cancel on twice, explicitly said she's still interested after confronted. This is probably a fairly common scenario, but I've never had to deal with this before. First time round the cancellation was because of a family emergency 4 hours before the date. Apologized a lot and immediately offered a reschedule. Initially the reschedule was for a week in advance, but offered something earlier when I asked if we could do a weekday and change the plans. Come the day of the second attempt, I once again received a text to cancel. This time she was sick, but only bothered to tell me 4 hours before, you know, instead of when she first knew. Anyway, I left the message on read. Should have probably just blocked her and moved on. She later starts apologizing. This is when I foolishly entertain the situation and voice my frustrations on how cancelling twice does not sit right with anyone who respects themselves and their time. I tell her that it's okay if she's not interested and that she doesn't have to be, just don't waste my time. She then promises me that she is interested and that she really does want to see me. Yet to respond. Are these just hard manipulation tactics, feeling like her backup option right now? This is probably the mindset would get you stuck in the cycle, but what if she is being honest? Will I just be throwing an opportunity away? Do I give a third chance? So, what do you think, gentlemen? What do you make of this scenario? Now, it could happen that she was sick and there was a family emergency. The family emergency, I don't buy. It's like the perfect excuse, right? Because how are you going to turn down a family emergency? But at the same time, I've heard it thrown around so often that, bro, how many family members do you have? And like, what are the odds of there being an actual family emergency the one time we date, right? So, I don't know, guys. It's suspicious. It shouldn't be. This is something that could actually perfectly happen. But you never know, right? Because with modern women, she could be absolutely just playing him, trying to see maybe if he has some other option lined up, if he cares or if he doesn't, right? But let's read one last, gentlemen. Are my standards too high? I, 18 female, excuse me, have been on around 5 dates in the last couple months, and every guy has not clicked with me. I feel awful about it because they always seem interested in me after the date, but I usually end up sending a message about how I do not want to continue or I ghost. The last guy I saw made blatant racist jokes, talked bad about his ex, basically told me he's only looking for a pretty girl, and it just rubbed me the wrong way. A different one got back with his ex-girlfriend when talking to me, and even after knowing I had found out, tried asking me for a second chance. The other ones weren't as bad, but they just didn't click with me or gave me off vibes. When the vibes aren't there, what can you do, guys? Am I right? I don't know if I'm just being picky or if my standards are too high. Of course you don't know. You don't even know what you're looking for. Well, the vibes were off. You don't even know what you're looking for. You don't even know what you like. You don't even think about the future. You know nothing. You know nothing, Jon Snow, you know? So how will you know if you're being picky or not? I just want someone who clicks with me. What does that mean? Nobody knows. Just clicks with her. What are you, a light switch or something? Yeah, we have to click. Doesn't make me uncomfortable. Lets me have a place in the conversation. Well, I'll tell you what your place is. None of these guys have. And comments on things other than my appearance. I've been single my whole life, and I haven't even had my first kiss yet. I feel like I'm doing something wrong, and I'm just so tired of being single. Well, what is your advice, gentlemen? This young lady needs advice from us, the dogs who have been around the block. So what is the advice? How can this woman click, guys? You know, let me know. But for some last thoughts, gentlemen, I've seen some of you express concern that I'm being too cynical, that I'm taking it too far, you know, being worried about my mental state, which is a very fair, you know, very fair concern, given how many hours I spend browsing on TikTok to find this material. But no, guys, I'm just alright. Don't worry. You know, outside of the fact that my royal pharaoh bloodline will end with me, because women nowadays are just utter crap, most of them, and the good ones are taken immediately. Outside of that, you know, and that I don't even have a chance to socialize with 50% of the human population, because they're either looking for S3X and for me to treat them like objects, or they're looking to use me for some resource. I mean, outside of that, you know, and that I'm going to spend my immortality alone, I'm good. Not that the other thing really bothers me. It bothers me more on a mental level, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even have a problem with being alone. I don't even have a problem with that being most of my life. But when it comes to mentally, that is draining, to be honest, guys. Like, society is collapsing, you know, and that troubles me on an ideological level. Because when you think about it, the most important aspect of humanity, which is the family, the building block of society, it has collapsed. It's over, right? It started with the hippies banging around each other. Then these hippies, the boomers, went on to have the Gen X, which is renowned for having a high divorce rate. And then came the, let's say, late millennials and Gen Z, which are the offspring of those very same people who divorced like multiple times, you know? I don't know how old are you, gentlemen, but when I was in high school, most people had divorced parents, all right? It was actually rare to see someone who has both his parents. And so I don't even want to think about what's going to happen with Gen Z. You know, these people, guys, the men that don't find a place in the world, the women that become 304s, I don't even want to begin to think what sort of hell spawns are they going to breathe into this world, you know? Not that there's anything wrong with the children, but just the situation that these children will be in. I don't even want to think about it. We are witnessing the downfall of the West. This is how it starts. It's all messed up. You cannot screw around with the family unit and expect something good to come out of it. So that has been weighing down on me. But I'm good, guys. I'm sane still, I have to say. So, hey, don't worry. But thank you for your concern, though. Let me know what you think about the downfall of the West. And I'll see you next time, guys. Have a good one.